Hello, this is Gareth with Mountain Coffee Outdoors. I thought I would head out today and just do a little campfire lunch. Just hang out by a campfire, make some coffee, just enjoy being out. I was going to try to come out this weekend and do an overnight camp out, but things conspired against me in doing that. But, you know, I can always try again next weekend. But I wanted to get out regardless and just, you know, spend some time outdoors. It did snow here yesterday. We didn't really get too much snow by any means. Maybe just a few inches. I'm almost surprised I'm not seeing more out on the fields. But I think so far the roads I've been on haven't been bad. Hopefully they're not bad out by the area I'm going to. But I'll be talking to you later. I think there's even more snow out here than I was expecting to find. I mean, it's not a whole lot by any means, but it's probably about 2 inches of snow on the ground. Snowiest it's ever been that I've been out in this spot. String up a tarp across here. The wind's coming in this way. It'll give me a little bit of a windbreak. It's one of my NVA or whatever they're called. East German shelter half tarps, just a nice little canvas tarp. Okay, so it's not the prettiest job in the world, but it'll work. It'll cut down on the wind. Part of the problem was, apparently this morning when I was throwing my stuff together, I didn't throw my little bag of stakes in with my pack, so didn't have any stakes to stake down the corners. And with the ground probably being frozen, I didn't really want to mess with trying to make wooden ones, so it's kind of tied the bottoms out with some paracord, and it looks like some oddly pitched sail, but it'll work. It's better than no wind protection. My thermometer over on the tree says it's about 23 degrees Fahrenheit, which, you know, really isn't that cold, but I think this wind is making it feel a lot colder than that. It's think it's around a 10-mile-per-hour wind or so, coming from more or less the east, and it's pretty chilly. So, you know, time to get a fire going without any further delay. So I'll throw some wood together and get the fire going. All right, get this fire lay affected, done, whatever. Lay down some sticks over the this wet ground. Let's keep things off of that snow and moisture a little bit better. Something like that'll work. Went out and gathered some grass. This stuff is a little of a coarser variety and a little less suited for, you know, taking ferro rod sparks. But I think for what I'm going to do today, it'll work just fine. I think today I'll just do something a little bit different, which, yeah, is a little bit easier, but, you know, it's a different technique, and definitely never hurts to use different techniques to get an idea how they work, even if they are kind of easier, almost cheating type methods. Not cheating, but maybe more suited for emergency use, shall we say. It's a cotton ball with some Vaseline on it. Take ferro rod sparks very readily. Burn for a good little while. I'm going to put on some little pieces of split up fat wood that I brought with me. Why not? I have some of this. I have plenty of this stuff at home. And this is the store-bought variety, which I think on a whole it's pretty good stuff. I've noticed that some pieces have less resin in them than others, but you know, it's probably not too surprising. But all in all, it's pretty good stuff. Let's make sure that cotton's fairly well puffed up. Looks like that fat wood's burning down there. Yeah, pine resin is remarkably flammable. Yeah. Better move my camera back before I singe even more of the fur off of the dead cat microphone wind cover. It's like I've been doing that plenty recently, getting the camera a little bit too close to the fire, and it doesn't take much heat to singe off that synthetic fur or whatever you want to call it. water over the fire for coffee. There we go. Now, fire does make a big difference. Even one that's not necessarily big, you know, gives you some warmth. And yeah, I mean, and smoke. And I might agree with the old saying, at least among certain circles, that fire is a false god of heat. Meaning, yeah, it'll warm you up and all that, but you probably should be doing things in such a way that you're not going to freeze to death without one. You know, if you're properly insulated against the cold, that will also insulate you against the heat too. But yeah, not to say that fire is a bad thing at all. I just do happen to subscribe to the school of thought that holds that you should probably be carrying stuff with you that'll keep you warm, so you don't have to rely on the heat of the fire just for survival. It's also very true, the old saying that wood warms you twice. The first time when you cut it, and the second time when you burn it. And I would say that it actually probably, if anything, warms you a little bit better when you cut it. Now, if you burn it inside a tin, like a hot tin or something like that in a stove, I'm sure it'd be a little different story, but yeah, good old wood. Warming you in more than one way. This is definitely a good way to spend a Saturday afternoon. Just out in the wild with some fresh snow on the ground in front of a campfire. Gonna have some coffee, gonna cook some food, have a good meal. I guess I have to say that I can't help but be kind of inspired by Brooke Whipple, who on her Girl in the Woods channel is doing have a campfire every day of February challenge. You know, I can't get out to do it every day, but at least with a just full-blown campfire. But you know, it's nice to do it when I can, and you know, like she says, get out. Get away from the news, get away from your electronic devices and such, and you know, just stare into a campfire. And that's definitely a good thing to do. She's also been reading poems by a poet, I believe her name is Mary Oliver, who died just about a month ago. I think it was about middle of January. And I have to say, I had never heard of her or her poetry, but sounds like some pretty good stuff. I mean, she obviously was a person that spent a lot of time outdoors and really had a pretty profound connection with nature. In some ways, some of her poetry kind of reminds me of Aldo Leopold, the guy that wrote a Sand County Almanac, who was an early conservationist who I believe either founded or co-founded the Wilderness Society, I think it's called. That book, A Sand County Almanac, is a great book to read. Talks just a lot about nature and not all of it necessarily like deep wilderness nature by any stretch of the imagination. A lot of it was just kind of common, everyday nature stuff that, you know, people run across, you know, if they just kind of pay attention to it. That's a book I need to reread sometime. I read it about 5 years ago. I guess if there's one thing that I, you know, really wish I had more time to do, and that would be read. There's definitely a lot of good books out there. Nice and warm. Probably should get my coffee stuff ready. I feel that water's gonna be boiling a little sooner than I might think. I hope that's stable enough. There we go, that might work. My apologies if this shot looks crappy. I'm looking at my viewfinder and it's upside down, so it's kind of hard to tell, kind of hard for me to judge how good of a shot it is. What I do know is that coffee is good. It smells good. Hard to beat coffee out in the wildlands on a cold winter's day with snow on the ground. Yeah, you can always bring a thermos full of coffee, but you know, this is even better. Yeah, we got a good ways to go. Don't worry, I'll keep at it. We've got some frozen little snow pellets coming down. There was a chance for some precipitation today. I was just hoping that it would all come down in frozen form. But I guess we're getting some of that. I guess now that I'm done filming snow, I should get back to doing what I was doing. I'm opening up a can of this Armor corned beef hash. I've never had this stuff before, but let's just say I saw it on a little video not too long ago, and it looks kind of good. You know, another one of those fire in February inspiration things. But get that open. Some smaller piece of wood under here. Oh man, smoky. Guess first order of business is getting this little grate to taste. This little grate to stay somewhat level. Oh, that fire is smoky. Maybe that'll help. Skillet heating up. Well, I threw some pepper on that. Well, I guess I'll say right now that an earlier video clip that I recorded, I had the microphone off, so there's not going to be any audio on that. So if that explains something later, once I get this thing edited together, there you go. That's the explanation. This is why there's no audio of me putting this corned beef hash in the skillet, starting to cook it, and I put some pepper in it. I think I might just try throwing those eggs right in on that other side. Yeah, I don't know if this is a bad idea or not, but I guess we'll find out. Get some salt and pepper on the eggs. Probably should have brought some like Tabasco or hot sauce or something, but I didn't think to do it. Scramble these a bit here. I feel like I'm winding up with a bunch of eggs mixed in with a hash, but I guess that's just fine. Let's It's all going to get mixed up when I eat it anyway, my stomach. Well, I think that's pretty much done. Have to see about toasting up some bread here in the pan. Just transfer this to my plate. It sure smells good. Maybe I should move that somewhat close to the fire. It's a plastic plate, so obviously there's limitations to how close we can get. A little butter on there. Have to be careful I don't cut this butter right through my finger with this nice sharp knife that Kyle knows where the made by hand up in Newfoundland. You know, I did not know that Newfoundland and Labrador were not part of Canada until after World War II. Yeah, just goes to show you, learn something new every day. And there goes my bread onto the snow. Oh well. Can I get a little of that butter on there? Might throw a little bit more butter on there. Oops. Kind of like making a grilled cheese sandwich without the cheese. Yeah, it's toasting it up there. I almost wonder if it wouldn't just work better to put it right over on the grate itself. Might just do that while I get this other one going. So have to watch that carefully, I guess. That covered in some butter. I got flames right underneath that bread there. Definitely have to watch it. Actually working out pretty well, as long as you watch it really, really carefully. Don't let it go very long. Then I'm gonna lay out some pieces of wood to lay my skillet on. So I don't put it directly in the snow. Put this hash back in the skillet. So be a little warmer that way. Butter is sizzling away on that bread, that's for sure. Yeah, I'd say toasting bread over flame is living dangerously. Yeah, it's about perfectly toasted there. Better than the other piece. I let the one side go a little bit long. All right. Keep the bottom of that skillet up just a little bit. And it'll be time to eat. All right, pull that off. I'll get that grate off of the fire. And a little bit more wood on this fire, get it going a little better. Coffee filter there with the coffee grounds in it. All right, time to dig in. Yeah, it's pretty good. I've never had corned beef hash before. But I guess rather predictably, it tastes a lot like corned beef and potatoes. Some eggs mixed in there. Some toast. Nice steaming hot meal right out of a little cast iron skillet on a cold winter's day out in the wildlands, sitting right in front of a campfire. It's time well spent. Haven't even had any of my coffee yet. Yeah. Piece of grass or something in there. Ooh, that's hot. Yeah. I guess that's what happens when you pour boiling water into an insulated container. I think I'm just going to take the lid off for now. Let it cool off a little bit. Well, at least now that I got that fire burning a little bit better, it's not quite as smoky. It was pretty bad there for a bit. Yeah, that snow stuff, the snow pellets, didn't really last for that long. Yeah, I did plan on going out and doing it overnight this weekend, but Monday night, which was the night of my actual birthday, when my wife and I went out to eat, and on the way home, just as we went out to the parking lot and started up our truck, I noticed it was making a loud kind of clicky sound, which I thought was rather concerning. And then the next day, on the way home from work, she said that it got louder. And then she got home, and then she noticed she had a flat tire. But as it would turn out, the flat tire was kind of the least of our problems, because the engine turned out to have a rather serious issue, one that wasn't even worth fixing, because the fix would have been an entirely new engine, and that would have cost more than the truck was worth. So unfortunately, my wife's truck, which means a lot to her, she's had it for a long time, and she bought it brand new and paid the whole thing off several years back. Unfortunately, the truck's dead, and it's on its way to a scrapyard So with dealing with all that stuff this week and getting her another vehicle to drive, that kind of caused me enough issues over the week that I had to kind of change the plans a bit. But that's the way life works. You just kind of have to keep your head up and just keep on going. Vehicles break down, it just happens, and sometimes they're not engineered or manufactured quite as well as they should have been, and eventually they develop really bad problems kind of across the board with those models sometimes, and that's just what happens. This is definitely a very hearty meal. Sure, it's quite high in the caloric content too, which on a winter's day is a good thing if you're gonna be outside enough, because you need some calories to burn to keep warm. Some good strong black coffee. It always seems to me that coffee tastes just a certain way when I make it out here, and I usually do use the same type of beans, but I don't know if it has something to do with it. Maybe I make it a little bit stronger than I usually do at home, because out here I just start kind of dumping it in that little coffee funnel until it looks like it's high enough. I don't really do a very good job of measuring it out, but when I drink coffee especially out of this Hydro Flask cup, mug, whatever you call it, always has a certain flavor to it. And I don't seem to experience that at home. I drink coffee out of this at home too. If I go out next weekend, I'm not sure exactly what the weather's supposed to do. It is kind of looking like it might be kind of messy, so might be interesting. It's definitely a pretty dreary day out here, but in all honesty, I really don't mind that at all. Gray overcast days always kind of seem sort of wintry to me. When they occur during winter, it always just kind of seems wintry. I don't know if you necessarily tend to have more overcast gray days in the winter than you do other times of the year or not, but it kind of seems like you do. At least this part of the world. Staring into a campfire, always recommended. It'll do the human inside you some good, guaranteed. We've been doing this for a long, long time. Well, the afternoon is definitely wearing on. I think there's a while to go before the sun goes down, but it's not really too bright out here at all. Kind of makes me wonder if there's more weather moving in. Although I suppose they'd probably do that from the east, since that's where the wind's coming from. But at any rate, I think I'm just gonna sit out here a little while longer, stare into the fire a little longer, drink some coffee, and get my stuff packed up and hike on out of here. But I want to say thanks for coming along and joining me on this little afternoon lunch cookout. I really appreciate you spending the time to watch this. If you enjoyed the video, hit like, share it with anybody that might be interested in it. Subscribe to my channel to see more videos. This is Gareth with Mountain Coffee Outdoors. I'll see you next time. I love campfires, but I could definitely do without the smoke in the eyes.